Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about the Graph. So this is one of those projects that I have been heavily focused on for a while. You guys probably know me. I've been talking about the Graph for a little bit of time. This was one of my biggest winners during 2021 initially. It was a very early mover and it was a huge mover as well. And I think that going into this next major cycle, a lot of people have been really kind of writing the Graph off simply because of it making newer lows. Meaning, guess what? We are at now lower lows. And we even seen that back in 2022. But as we do look at that, performance overall, the Graph during 2021 was one of the biggest winners. Now, of course, is it going to see the same exact gains because of the supply change? In my opinion, I really don't see a big problem with the supply. Again, I talked about Casper Network for a while. When we look at Casper, Casper has about roughly the same supply. I think Casper actually has a little bit more supply. So I don't really see a big problem with this going back to $1. I also don't see a big problem with it going back to $2. So as we really kind of look at the Graph today, I still think that this is going to be a big winner. And if you do believe in the Web3 economy and what Web3 is becoming, then you obviously have to believe in what the Graph is doing, because this is providing decentralized data and even data management for the Web3 space. And it's really kind of helping data become accessible within this new decentralized economy that's rising from Web3. Now, within that, let's talk about a few things. Let's first go back to the 1 year. So I like to look at tokens that do have strong performances even during the bear market. And when I say strong performances, I mean when they do start to break out a little bit, I like to see the strength of them. The Graph was not, a crazy mover, but it did do pretty well. It came down to almost like 5.5 cents or so. And then it ran all the way up to about like roughly 21 cents. Again, like other tokens, sure, they did do better moves. But this is still a pretty big move, and it's a strong move as well. There has been a lot of focus put on the Graph recently because of their big moves being made in terms of the project's announcements, which we will go over. Just to give you guys a quick insight, you can pretty much get this on almost all major exchanges. As we look at the price today, one of the biggest things that I was looking at is if we were going to hold around like roughly the 9.5 cent zone. Because guess what? The last time that we lost this, well, we came down as low as roughly 7.5 cents. We've seen a nice impulsive move to about roughly 10.5 cents. And most of that resistance was like right around roughly 10 cents. So once we really kind of lose that area, we become a little bit weak. Now, if we look at the Graph today, what I'm really kind of looking at is two levels. One, possibly us coming back down to about roughly 7, almost 8 cents exact. And then also all the way down to about roughly 7 cents. This line down here at around roughly almost 7 cents, that's going to be the last leg of support before we do see the lows being ran from like November of 2022 and possibly December of 2022. I'm hoping that this holds here and we get a nice impulsive move back to retest the resistance. Maybe we, consolidate a little bit and then we get the big breakout. I would love to see this hold. And I would also love to see us have, a higher high here instead of us creating a lower low from back here, meaning we could go even lower than roughly 5 cents. But I'm hoping that that is not the case. This downtrend has been relentless since the big spike back in February. So technically speaking, if we go back to the date time frame and we go to where we are at now, it's been downtrending for about 216 days. Remember what I've always said on this channel, downtrends usually will be broken. Either they will see a major move to the upside or they will get absolutely sold off. So I'm waiting to see the big impulsive move from this downtrend. Personally speaking, I think most of this market has been pretty rough, and I think that we've been just kind of bleeding out a little bit. So once the market kind of turns around, I'm really kind of focused on these projects that are still here building and making a lot of noise, and the Graph is one of them. In terms of job openings, right? They have a ton of job openings. They have 19 job openings. That means that one, they are still here. They are still trying to hire. They're not doing too bad on that. I actually look at a lot of the projects that are still hiring during the bear market, while others are, well, we already know, laying off workers. So when you see layoffs during the bear market, first off, it's normal. But when you see projects struggling with their product suite, and then also with their employee team, that's a little rough. And I do think that having them here hiring still with 19 job listings, that's something beneficial to also mention. And then also, as we look at the subgraphs, this has been growing still. Now, for most people, they wouldn't really look at this, but there's two sections here. There's the Ethereum network, and then there's Arbitrum 1. Now, on Ethereum, there is roughly 926 subgraphs. Now, you probably know these networks, and you can look through this. You can look through the Ethereum network, Polygon, Celo, Avalanche, Arbitrum 1, you name it. There is so many projects on here, and there's probably a lot of projects that you actually know. This is why I say, like, data is so crucial to this Web3 world, but specifically decentralized data. And you can see some of the great projects here. Like I said, a lot of you probably already know about some of these projects, like, for example, Polygon. You have Mana here, Synthetics, SNX. There's so many. And I love to see this, right? Like, the graph is truly welcoming in the idea of helping this space through data. A lot of people looked at the graph back in 2021 and 2020 as the Google of crypto. And I would argue that they are, essentially becoming a big crucial piece to the space. Are they going to be the Google of crypto? We have no idea, right? But it is a great way to really kind of, mention the graph or even try to describe the graph, because it is a big piece of the puzzle. But also, as we look at Arbitrum 1, there's 285 subgraphs here. So there's well over 1,000 plus subgraphs. And I think that it's beneficial to mention that simply because it proves to you how big of a giant the graph actually is around this space. Now, they also do have the hosted service. Now, full transparency, this service will be sunsetted in this year, but it will remain open to networks that are not supported so far on the decentralized network. But this will most likely be sunsetted for those that are still a part of it. Don't know what's going to happen with that specifically, but this is not even a key piece of the puzzle for the graph. And also, from what I've seen, it seems as though there's going to be a lot more developments happening on the graph, meaning there's going to most likely be a lot more products. Because even if you go over here to the products, there's 3 so far. There's the Graph Explorer, which is just exploring subgraphs and interact with the protocol. And then there's Subgraph Studio, which is where you can create, manage, and even publish subgraphs and API keys. And then you also have the hosted service. So there's 3 pieces here. Obviously, the subgraphs are like the big thing around the graph. But it seems as though they are expanding. There's actually a lot of grants right now within the graph. Now, this program is a gateway for contributing to Web3, as they do say. Grants are awarded for protocol, tooling, subgraph, and dApp development and growth initiatives. Check out past efforts funded by the community treasury. And of course, you guys can go and check that out. But this is definitely interesting, right? Like, there's over 100 grantees here. A lot of it being centered out on, like I said, the protocol, tooling, subgraphs, and dApps, and even the community. But I love when we have these grant, programs, because it does incentivize developers, even if, right? Because I've actually had this conversation in the space before. Even if these grants get utilized and nothing comes from it, at least there was some initiative there. Now, in my opinion, I think that there's going to be a lot coming from this. I think that we will see a lot of big development from this. In fact, we've already kind of seen that with Wave 1 through 4. So I'm actually very excited about this. And also some Wave 5 ones. For example, we have like 0x splits. There was a lot of great programs and initiatives from these grant programs, which I'm very excited about. And again, it helps build out the ecosystem fully. So again, I figured I would mention that just simply because if those out there are concerned about the product offering on the graph, I wouldn't really be concerned about it. Again, the key pieces for the graph are still there. But also, we already know that they continue to expand. Over here, are you ready to take advantage of the lower gas fees and faster transaction speeds on Arbitrum? The Graph's L2 transfer tools make it easy to transfer your indexing, operation, curation signal, delegated graph, and subgraphs. which again is experienced network on layer 2. And this is where you have, scalability with lower fees. This is huge and this is great. Again, this is what the graph is helping these networks achieve. They are truly helping these networks scale, access data that is decentralized. I mean, it's insane to say the least when we look at the graph today and people are still writing it off as saying it's dead. It's dead. It's not going to do anything. I've always said it in this space, you will have times where products will be tied to Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin will have a sell-off. Some altcoins will get completely swallowed up. But the ones that are still here building, the ones that are still here making noise, it's almost like Amazon, right? Amazon went through the worst bear market ever when the dot-com bubble burst. At that time, Jeff Bezos was saying, yeah, the price of the stock is down, but everything else around development and expansion and building, it's expanding. It's becoming big. And at that time, not a lot of people seen it. Those that seen it were visionaries. When we really kind of look at the space, I look at it the same exact way. We're still tied to Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, there's some great products here. We know Web3 is becoming a big deal. We know how many brands and organizations and companies and institutions are already jumping into the Web3 world. It's only going to continue to be a trend. And that's where a lot of these pieces of the puzzle become crucial pieces. And I think that the graph is one of them. I think it's a pillar around data. And they also continue to expand, which is great. And we even see over here, like the graph has a new community-driven chain integration process. Anyone can now propose adding support for new chains on the graph network, ready to get started integrating new chains. Read on how to learn how to start the process. And here you guys have the full breakdown of that. This is the multi-chain expansion. This just happened on August 30th. This is great. And we even see here first, any community member can now submit a GIP for a chain integration. All community engagement. Again, like I just don't see a world where the graph is not an absolute blue chip in this space. I actually look at the graph as a blue chip. And even when we look at the future, initially speaking, I'm really kind of eyeing that $2.15 zone. If we can go to a new all-time high, that will be incredible. But that's where a lot of the resistance is up there. First off, we need to get through a lot. Initially speaking, I would argue that we need to get through the big resistance zones that we've seen initially on when we started to break out a bit. And then it's ultimately flipping the support level from back in January of 2021, flipping some support levels back from the summer of 2021. And then from here, we really kind of just look at, the next levels of resistance and where we can go in the next bull run. So we have to wait. We have to be patient. But I do think that the graph is going to perform pretty well. I'm really kind of eyeing some high billion-dollar market caps for this. Could it be, going to $1? Could it be going to $2, $3? Anything is possible during a bull run. We have to wait and see how much demand there is for the graph. Is it going to be the same thing as like 2021 where we've seen it explode absolutely to the $3 plus price predictions that a lot of people were calling for during that time? We don't know, right? And it even missed $3. It was like $2.92. But even so, when we really kind of look at the graph today, I still think it's extremely undervalued. I think that this will perform pretty well. Even if it just goes to 50 cents, it's still a pretty nice gain. But I'm looking at $1 plus to possibly $2.15. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.